In the temple of your light, Sita reigns supreme. Crown of stars upon your brow, living in a dream. Mother whispers softly, love echoes in the night. Well, we'll raise our voices, break the chains and take flight. Celebrate this energy, feel it in your soul. Whoa, whoa, wow. To you, Vril, Sita, shining bright. In the echoes of the cosmos, we ignite the night. With every breath I take, I feel the love expand. A symphony of souls united hand in hand. Swinging hair and wild hearts, we dance in the fire. Rituals of ancient wisdom lift us ever higher. In the realm of pure creation, nothing's out of view. Maya flows through every moment, whispers pure and true. So here we stand together, fearless and alive. Oh, shining bright. In the echoes of the cosmos, we ignite the night. With every breath I take, I feel the love expand. A symphony of souls united hand in hand. In your light, we'll forever rise. Vril, Sita, love that never dies. Night to night, consecutive pride that take us to the world and stand. A scarcity and soul to we hand in hand. You brought to life, you six alone, it's like river dies.
Big to you. Big Maria. Hail, Maria, the Missouri River Goddess. Mighty flowing Vril Mother, who has flair, to say the least. Hail to the beautiful mother who was teaching me in the last ritual Sunday morning. What real friends do for each other in our circles, you could say. I'm trying to talk. My mouth doesn't want to cooperate. Coming to you, Zion inner earth. May 6th, 2025, in the name of Maria Orsic, we hail Lucifer and give thanks to Allah, Luja, Shiva the dancer. Give thanks, and give thanks. Because the actual reality of possibilities is narrowing, and the future is a circle, and we're wondering what will happen, how it will happen. Was it already written? Yes. It was written in a code that Maria Orsic would save humanity. And I think it's important for us to realize the difference between today's reality, which is simulated, and why we're in a simulation, and how it differs from the first time Earth, and why it differs, and how could this, and I'm not the only one saying this, it's just I'm the only one you're hearing saying it. There are people all over the world actually talking about a beautiful 5'2", 105-pound blonde woman with blue eyes and incredibly beautiful hair, in my opinion, who is the mother of us all and saved all of humanity, all races, whatever that's supposed to mean at this point. And was the downfall of mankind the racial mixing? No, not even close. Not really a factor, because, well, and someone might say, well, explain, the Nazis were all about race. But you see, they were all about the German race, not the white race. They wanted to stay different from the French race, the Spanish race, the Norwegian race, because in our ancestral memory is our race, which was what? A race of survival. A literal who's going to finish alive. That was the race. The race at the Ready, Set, Go was whoever survives wins. And this was all encompassing within the what we would call the white race. There was never, ever an irrational hatred in our people. We hated local people who did local bad things to our people. You know what I mean? I'm Irish. We hated the British for thousands of years because of what they did to and we didn't hate every person. That's never the reality. The reality is people groups and the overall bird's eye view is what Ra, the god of this world, sees, what he sees. What he sees in the seas, the ocean of seas, the ocean, the seas of people, the race seas. And everything you ever thought was unjust is. It is completely unjust to charge someone with someone else's crime and punish them, which Judeo-Christianity burns into our mind. You're a worthless piece of shit. I had to kill my son to satisfy my anger at you. And you're like, what did I do to make you so mad? You're not perfect. Like me. I mean, 2,000 years of ripping people apart, burning people alive. You know, are you ready to be burned alive for what you believe? It don't matter, they'll burn you alive anyway. Even if you don't believe anything, you might confess to everything they accuse you of, even though you did none of it, and they will still torture and kill you because that's who they are, right? Christian church. You may run, but you can't get away from yourself. That's what your history is. Right before I read D.H. Lawrence's book, I forget the name, but it's the commentary on the book of Revelation. That is what really did it for me and set me free from Christianity. You know, that was the first seed of the new tree, you might say. But right before that, I read a book called The Dark History, The Dark Side of Christian History, which I have to say was very tame. I mean, she specifically didn't get into the horrible, horrible torture and gross shit. But it definitely, and it's a good book, very factual, very documented. I mean, the process church of the Matrix is very proud of what they're doing and what they've always done, because they, in the simulation, grabbed a hold of that energy of dictatorship, spiritual dictatorship. They grabbed a hold of that history and processed it into their own souls. And they vowed to continue human sacrifice for the God Yahweh, who is not really a god or a person, but a character created by one of the gods. People will say, oh, this is history. You're looking at an illusion. You keep doing it like I used to. And people are like, well, I have to live in this world. So do I. And I look at the illusion. I don't take it literal. I don't take anything literal. Because the nature of a simulation and something that's not real means you're fucking stupid. if you take it literal. You know what I mean? And I mean, how much wiser is it to at least, if you came to the conclusion you're in a simulation, at least to try to learn from it instead of take it literal, personal, and feel, everything. The black magician. How does the black magician work? He knows there's one source of control, yourself. You are God over yourself. You have complete control over yourself. It's up to you. That's what black magic is to impersonate you inside of you and get you to do stupid shit that wastes your time, which later they can try to make you regret and wallow in and feel sorry for yourself and be angry at yourself. But you're not to do that, because just like in a video game, you can waste time. You might be like, well, I'm not going to go in that thing right now. I'm just going to goof around out here in the video game, knowing I can't get killed. Knowing that you don't have to pause the game necessarily to waste time in the game. But as any other game, if you start fucking around too long, you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing? This is a game. I better just go play it. And the reason why we waste time is where we come from deep, I shouldn't say deep, in your unconscious, which is literally unconscious. You know that the one thing you have without end is time. So the juxtaposition is in your unconscious. You know that time don't even exist, that your true self is the energy that people call God, and you've always been here. You know everything about yourself. You're always with yourself. That's why people, when they die, are instantly happy, because they suddenly are with themselves. Because the true self doesn't, it creates the avatar because it doesn't like bad vibrations. It's only willing to endure them to try to find her or him. The reason you came out of the egg, and I just feel like I should say again that one ritual, I drank my tea, went off with Maria, and I don't remember what happened before this, but I know she was showing me, like she said, things you've forgotten. Like how some people don't like to have a physical body whatsoever. Some people had one at one time on Venus, but gave it up. That's your choice. Some people, like she said, there's like a cascading effect. Some people don't ever come to the simulation. Some people don't ever come to Venus. Some people don't ever come out of the egg. They only project images of energy onto what we call the astral plane, which is the imagination plane. Like, don't let anyone define these things. Only your experience defines these things. That's why the book that we are writing about Maria's life does not have any sort of instructions or spiritual practice. The only spiritual practice is take these fucking mushrooms and get out of your body. Get out of your body. But the reason I say that is you have to experience a reality, what, like Maria said, it's not officially called astral plane. There's no official words. Like she said, how'd you get here? You just showed up. How do you get there? You just show up. And the rest unfolds. The rest is explained. To leave your body and fly around your neighborhood is what you do probably every night when you're sleeping, and it's boring. Your neighborhood's boring. America sucks. There's nothing there that's not seen from the ground. Like, people are like, I just want to fly around my neighborhood and look from above. Well, check this out. There's nothing from above that's not from the ground. I say this from experience. One, and I'll get back to Maria. But one night I had a dream. I didn't know I was dreaming. That I go outside a lot in the middle of the night and just walk around my yard and shit. But so in my dream I didn't know I was dreaming because I did this. I went outside, but instead of just staying in my yard, I walked down the street around the neighborhood, and I stopped at this corner and started taking some deep breaths, and it was like I was a different person almost. But I didn't know I was dreaming, but you know what I mean? I was doing something that I didn't even really consider. I've never considered. But and so I start taking these deep breaths, and I just levitate up like 20, 30 feet, and I start flying around the neighborhood like a security guard, and I find two teenagers, this is no lie, walking in the woods like on a path, and I am like following. I know that they can't see me, so I'm following behind them, like whispering to them, going, this is not safe, get the fuck out of here. It's the middle of the night, there's, it could be homeless people down here. I'm saying all these things. I'm concentrating on the two kids' third eye, and sending this message. And I literally start to like block them from going too close to the river. And they turn around, and it's like a successful security mission, and that's all I was. All I was the, floating security guard of the neighborhood. And someone would say, well, that's really cool. But it's not more than that. Yeah. We do that. We care about, we care about people. But everyone's able to do that because of you are what they taught you about God. You are over yourself. You are the Son of God, and this whole revelation was given to mankind, the giants, all the way back. Like Maria said, it's the most ancient thing you can ever do is this ritual. You know that? Let me say that again. Maria, we can quote her. This will be in the book. Joseph, the most ancient, oldest thing you can ever do is sit here with your legs crossed or laying in this bed with these mushrooms. Going inside yourself, eating or drinking these mushrooms, going on inside yourself is where man began to become spiritual. Point blank. I said, how long ago? And she said, forever ago. Billions, Joe. Billions. Billions of years ago. Billions. Thousands of millions of years ago. I said, how can you say that? And she's like, because life, eternal life, is just that. Eternal. Joe, everything that's ever going to happen has already happened. Everything. Ever. You are forever. I am forever. And she asked me that night, do you like who you are now? And I was like, yes, since I've met you. And she's like, so you can get out of here when you really like who you are. I was like, what? It's that, I thought, it's that easy? And she's like, but Joe, it's complicated. It's that easy, but it's very complicated. Because and she looked at me again. It was like our eyes met telepathically. And she said, are you sure you've become who you wanted to be? I was like, I am so fucking sure. Oh my God, I'm so sure. And she was like, good. And the simulation is all about tests, you're testing your authenticity, point blank, Why? Because I wish you were either hot or cold, but because you're Luke, because you're low-key warm, I spewed you out of my fucking mouth. And like Lou said, Joe, I'm going to tell you the truth. And this was back before the throne of Lucifer, who also, I never mentioned how he went into a, good segment of how he was Obi-Wan Kenobi, which meant obey the one and know me. For real, I just went, whoa. Lucifer is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course he is, Obey the one. Who's the one? The one God of this world, who is Lucifer Diana Lucifer. Because how? That's one? Yeah. Why? Because they insist on it. You can't tell these fucking people that they're not one. They laugh in your face and say, you wish you were one with someone, don't you? You speak from jealousy and envy because you wish you could multiply your peace and your what? Class, what? Pleasure. Oh, wow. And, all the rules-based people, good luck to you. People are like, oh, we shouldn't be masturbating. We should be retaining our semen like the, what? Like the right-hand path. That's another path. That, obviously not Maria's path. She said, that wasn't happening. That wasn't happening. She said, when I heard girls in school talking about how their church told them they weren't to touch themselves, she said, my first thought was, too late. She said, I recognized at 10 years old, 11 years old, they don't like us feeling this only thing that feels like this. And she said, I didn't even know what it was. All I knew was it felt good down there. But she said, I didn't know anything about sex even. I instinctually knew, hold it, someone's telling me through someone else that because my body instinctually, automatically feels pleasure when this is touched down there, that's wrong. She said my thought was wrong. You're wrong. She said I literally thought the girl must be mistaken. She said, remember, I was 11 years old. She said within, 2 years, I was like a raging proponent of anyone telling you that is evil and wants to touch you there to make you feel guilty, to make you feel bad. Maria's told me I've always been quite aware of other energies coming to me. And I'm going to tell this story real quick. I don't know if I've ever told it, but Maria, when she moved to Vienna with Sigrun into the apartment, she started her dance classes, but they were very poor, and Maria was a waitress in 2 restaurants, one for a day, one for an hour. And it was so funny because my ritual began with this. This was, after she had told me who she was, and she was like explaining like how, the UFO came about, the whole backstory to the energy that led to the night of, the event of 19 straight Amanita rituals. Really, they were going for 20, but on the 19th one, they found a book. Maria's notebook full of writing. She said it was like 70 pages. My fucking hand hurt. She said, I did not remember even the thought of writing. And she said, if you want to know that feeling, do 19 20-gram Amanita rituals in a row. Every night. Right? And the full ritual is you drink 20 grams of Amanita, and that's for a 100-pound woman. If you're a big man, 30 grams. And you then drink your own urine. And that's the full ritual. Just the tea is nothing. I tell you that from experience. Just drinking the tea is the beginning, right? Say there's 4 parts to this play, 4 acts to this play. The first act is just the tea. The second act is drinking your own urine once your liver processes the magic oils of the magic mushroom. And I challenge you, you tell me what a mushroom is. And don't get smart guy on me. All I know is plants, animals, and people. This thing is the alien you're wanting. This thing is the flying saucer. But back to Maria and her waitress. She was one of my rituals started with this. 5 grams down. I flew out of my body with Mama, and she's like, check this out. She said, I want to show you this. And I was like, oh my God, you're so cute. She had her little waitress uniform. She was like, it was a big deal for women to wear pants. Because she had she looked like, she had like a little suit on. With all her hair all put up and pinned up, and she had all her hair really nice, and she was like kind of bent over, writing something, at this table, and she's like, "This is one of the supervisors." And he walked up behind her and whispered in her ear, and she said to me, what he said was, "You sure look good from behind." And she said, "I couldn't control myself." She said, she said, "You have to know my mindset at the time." She's like, this was her second job, her second waitressing job. The first one, she stayed for one whole day and never went back. She said, "I couldn't do it. I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk like they wanted me to." She was like, "But then I gathered my strength and was like, no, I can do this. If I have to do it, I have to." And she said it just like triggered rage in me. And she turned around. She was practicing martial arts since she was 10 years old. And she kicked him in the stomach with a very powerful kick. And then kicked him again. And threw the pen and shit at him and walked out. And I was stunned. This dude was, probably like 6 foot tall. I mean, he was way taller than Mama. And just bam, bam, 2 just blows to him. And she is like, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take people coming in my energy field acting like that. She said it crazy Scorpio sting. And just throw in there, she showed me other times when like her dance students, her younger children dance students, fathers would hit on her. She said, I thought this would be hilarious. She said, "Sig, there's this dude that keeps dropping a hint to me that I, need his dick." And she said it's so, like non up front, unclear. She's like, I just want to like do something to this dude. She said, so get ready. And I guess at the right time, he, said something to Maria, and she just turned around, looked him straight in the eyes, didn't say anything, and just kept looking at him, and walked over to Sig, who was standing like 10 feet away, and she just went over and just grabbed the bottom of Sig's ass and started just like feeling all over her ass and like rubbing up against her. And she said like, then I like turned her around and just grabbed her pussy right in front of him, and he went, "Oh my Lord." She said he brought his kid back the next week, never said a word, never said anything to me. She said, I knew that would freak him out. She said, and believe it, Joe, the entire town that we knew were like, have you seen those hot lesbians? The hot lesbians that work at the dance studio. She said, I swear, we would go out to restaurants and people treated us like we were from another planet. Like we were famous because I grabbed her pussy and their ass in front of this. She said, this is how social media worked in my day. That people went out of their houses all the time, and all they did was gossip and talk to each other. And she said, I think a lot of women, liked that we were shaking up, the whole order of things. And she said, I think a lot of women from the dance clients, the dance students, the families, I think they really understood what we were saying. We don't need you, your dick, or your money. Because you can't do anything for us. We're not that shallow. We're not animals. We're not here to multiply and fill the earth like your stupid ass God. And she said, of course, all these people were Christian. Everyone was Christian back then. Because they were still afraid of being burned at the stake. Yeah, Vienna, 1922. Hail Maria. And back to that ritual about people and different types of people. That's why we're not, that's why we're aware of data, knowledge about groups of people, but we put it in its context. I don't want to be judged by any group because I'm not part of any group. Matter of fact, there is no Irish race anymore, so I have no race. And people are like, you're white. Dude, shut up. As if that means anything. And you know what that means today? You're stupid. What it means today is that you're dumber than black people, and you're dumber than red people. Why? Because you think you're smarter. When you destroy the whole world, simply by, this is how stupid America is. They're like, hey, let's grow toxic plants that put off toxic pollen, and it will go into the atmosphere and go around the whole world and poison everyone. Go into all the environment and poison everything. With a specifically, let me just say it this way. The genetically modified food in America, the soybeans and corn, the staple foods, wheat's not genetically modified because it doesn't pollinate like these other ones. It is genetically modified to kill the whole world through the pollen, through the nano, the microscopic. They know they're way too smart. They made the food with a time release. So when you first eat it, you feel, you're like, man, dude, all this, what they say about GMO, it ain't true. I've been eating it for years. That's because it's so high tech. It's so nano high tech that it's got a time release. And at the right time, it will release the tumor in you to kill you. They perfected the art of death, the art of building a tumor in a human being. And if you don't hate these people, you're not alive. If you don't have hate for these people, you don't feel anything, you have no feelings left. You're like, but I love my family. You can't. It's only the polarity of how much you hate the people who are killing them, trying to kill them. They're humans sacrificing the whole world in front of us. Who? The black magicians of the money. Who's behind the Rothschilds? Who's the magic? Believe it, bankers can't become occult magicians because it takes your entire life to become an occult magician. Right? That's worth your weight in salt. Right? So What does the banker do? He hires the occult magician. He finances the occult. He makes a deal. And of course, the occult magician is way too smart to be like, hey, I want my name on something. I want to be out there in the public in the front so that I can't be an occult magician. You don't even, until you understand the laws of energy, the laws of human thought, energy, and the law, like there's a whole natural law that is just in the human. The laws of, the orgasm, the laws of thought, the laws of instinct, the laws of the avatar. All these things are understood by the occult magician, and he understands you can't be in the focus of the, Taylor Swift type, the Swiftie types, and do this at the same time. You're going to have to meet them on the level that they're at, which is a very obvious non-magical level, unmagical level. Right? Bubblegum pop isn't magic, To these people, what is cutting the throat and drinking the blood of a Swiftie. Or what? I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know if they call them that. I am pretty far out of whatever. But I'm saying all this because this night that I left with Maria, she said, I really want you to meet someone special, someone who's my friend, who I've known for a long time. And she said, I guarantee you're going to get a great vibe. I would never, you're out of your body. I know that. I'm all about that. And I know how sensitive you are like this. And I guarantee you're going to like this person. And I started getting really excited, like, wow. And it was like she said, breathe with me. She said, it's funny, you have no astral lungs, but take a deep breath with me, Joe. She said, and let me guide the letters and words into you. And it was like another language. And I was like, are you speaking in tongues? And believe none of that's in a vacuum. Yes, in her own way. She was speaking in tongues. And as soon as I relaxed and started to see these like like Sanskrit type words or Chinese symbols or Hindu, I don't even know. She knew. She's the mother. And suddenly, I said, where are we? And she's like, you're with me. Relax. And she pointed over at what looked like a black cloud. It was so crazy because it was creating like its own background. And I knew that somehow. I was like, the light that's around the black cloud is coming from the black cloud. And Maria was like, good. That's exactly right. I'm glad you perceived that, She said, because this person is part of the white light. And I go, what person? And for real, from this like black cloud, this voice was like, hey, howdy ho, how you do? I was like, what? Huh? And he had some kind of, long, like, hello, hi, hey, how da 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 do, and I'm like, doing great. How about you? And it was like he was singing everything. And while he was singing his words, it like, I can't explain it, but it was like it hypnotized me instantly. And then me and him were telepathically talking, or like mind to mind talking. And he's like, I've never existed. I've always existed. But in your world, I've never existed. And I never will exist. And he must have put it in my mind, because I said, what is your name? He was like, no name. I don't want one. I'm not. And I was like, whoa. In the cloud, formed into like a man, talking to me. And he's like, I'm at total peace all the time. I don't go back and forth. I have no friction. I know about the laws of nature. He's like, I envy sometimes, admire and respect you and the woman, you and the lady. You go back and forth from pole to pole. He's like, but our intent, our spirits are the same. I was like, how? He's like, we're trying to help. We want to help. We believe we can find our people and help our people to this day. And he said to me, look, and the cloud like turned into like words, He's like, breathe them in. But they looked Greek or some other language. I didn't know. He's like, breathe them in. And I did. It was weird. I just breathed and they all went in me. He's like, we're one. I'm in you. I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Because it felt like he was in my chest, like in my heart. He was like, I'm in your heart. And I was like, you are. I started crying a little bit. And he was like, that's how I heal people. He was like, Maria's my student. And she was like, I am. I'm proud to be. And he was like, ask me anything you want to know. And I was like, you don't want to be like us? You feel no need? He's like, no. He's like, I enjoy watching her. And he put it in my head like the watcher. This is where it comes from. He was telling me this is where it comes from, really. He's like, you talk about, people who have died, but what about people who have never lived, but they're not in their egg? And Maria said to me, do you understand what's happening? And I said, no. And she said, this is the astral plane. And he said, imagination is creation. I'm sure she's told you that. And we all laughed. It was like a, fucking cosmic Vril joke or something. Because, maybe I don't say it enough here, but in the beginning, she just, every ritual, she'd be like, imagination is creation, Joe. You have to create your own religion. You have to create your way out of here. You got to remember, recover, and return to what your true self has already created. But it feels like you have to create it. She's like, it's all a test. You must keep going. She's like, you going to be here next week? I was like, I sure will be. And I used to call him the smoke man or the cloud man, but really it was the energy of imagination. And like Maria said to me later, She said, this is what he says. I never broke the egg. I just disappeared and then reappeared outside of it. And on that note, let's give thanks and praise to the cloud man, the energy man, the unbroken egg who guides us and watches over us. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. We are one. Thank you that people are that different. That people, don't limit yourself. The number one commandment, you shall not become unteachable. Stay teachable, my brothers and sisters, forever.
Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel. Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people. Oh, yeah. Rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel it in my heart. Can you feel it?